Hello and welcome to the Antiquarian Outlook for week 48 of 2025, starting November 24th. I'm Spencer W. Stuart, Collections Advisor, author of Contemporary Issues in Rare Books and Manuscript Collecting, and host of the monthly webinar, Collecting Insights. For more details on my services, publications, and programs, follow the links below, along with links to the various auctions we'll discuss in this program. On to last week's results. Monday, Ketterer Kunst Doerling had rare books. There were 493 lots offered, of which 353 sold, making for a 72% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 20, Isaac Newton's Principia, published in 1687. Bidding started at 100,000 euros, realizing just above 327,000 euros. A lot that exceeded expectation was 560, a handwritten letter by Goethe in 1831 to Alexander von Humboldt. Bidding started at 8,000 euros, realizing 63,500 euros. Freeman's had American Historical Ephemera and Early Photography, an online sale. There were 286 lots offered, of which 241 sold, making for an 84% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 98, a 13-star American flag constructed in 1883. Estimates were set at $800 to $1,200 US, realizing $24,400 US. A lot that exceeded expectation was 30, 41 views of the destruction of Fort Sumter and around Charleston, South Carolina. Estimates were set at $300 to $400 US, realizing $4,575 US. Finishing off Monday, Llach Auctions had antique books and autographs. There were 478 lots offered, of which 99 sold, making for a 21% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 12, a folio of Euclid's Geometry published in 1509. Estimates were set at £25,000 to £30,000, realizing £30,000. A buy-in of note, lot 362, a typed letter autographed with corrections by Van Neumann. Estimates were set at £20,000 to £24,000. Starting off Tuesday, Doyle New York had rare books, autographs, and maps. There were 342 lots offered, of which 313 sold, making for a 91.5% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 46, Shakespeare's Sonnets, published by the Doves Press in 1910, one of 15 copies printed on pure vellum. Estimates were set at $8,000 to $12,000 US, realizing $60,800 US. A buy-in of note, lot 51, a typed letter signed by Albert Einstein, exploring the economic theories of Henry George. Estimates were set at $10,000 to $15,000 US. A lot that exceeded expectation was 5. This manuscript of the contract governing German conquistadors in Venezuela, done in 1528. Estimates were set at $2,000 to $4,000 US, realizing $35,200 US. Next sale, Bonhams had prints and multiples. There were 185 lots offered, of which 129 sold, making for a 70% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 93. This 4-part lithograph and screen print by David Hockney in 1994. Estimates were set at $40,000 to $60,000 US, realizing just above $56,000 US. A buy-in of note, lot 92. 2 lithographs from Robert Longo's Men in Cities series from 2002. Estimates were set at $40,000 to $60,000 US. Next sale, Swann Galleries had rare and important travel posters. There were 307 lots offered, of which 233 sold, making for a 76% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 281, David Klein's New York Fly TWA from 1956. Estimates were set at $7,000 to $10,000 US, realizing $25,400 US. A buy-in of note, lot 235, a poster for the Cincinnati Fall Festival of 1902. Estimates were set at $7,000 to $10,000 US. A lot that exceeded expectation was 48. This poster for the North German Lloyd Bremen line from around 1906. Estimates were set at $1,000 to $1,500 US, realizing $7,620 US. Finishing off Tuesday, Soler Llach had antiquarian books, manuscripts, and maps. There were 625 lots offered, of which 433 sold, making for a 69% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 3, Braun and Hogenberg's Civitatis Orbis Terrarum, published between 1582 and 1587. Bidding started at €14,000 and realized €14,000. A buy-in of note, lot 526, Danville's Geographical Maps from 1779. Bidding was set to start at €12,000. On to Wednesday, Forum Auctions had an online sale, books and works on paper. There were 358 lots offered, of which 308 sold, making for an 86% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 297. Top sells The History of Serpents from 1608. Estimates were set at £1,000 to £1,500, realizing £2,600. A buy-in of note was lot 5, Nuclearis' Chronica from 1579, A Chronicle of the World from Adam to 1500. Estimates were set at £600 to £800. Next sale, Il Ponte had prints and multiples. There were 83 lots offered, of which 80 sold, making for a 96% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 172, Boetti's Insicuro non Querante, a portfolio completed between 1975 and 1976, consisting of 81 plates. Estimates were set at €18,000 to €24,000, realizing €40,000. A buy-in of note, lot 121, Man Ray's Revolving Doors from 1972, consisting of 10 color poussoir prints. Estimates were set at €8,000 to €12,000. Next sale, Ader had antiquarian and modern books. There were 215 lots offered, of which 152 sold, making for a 71% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 75, Garnier's Voyage d'Exploration d'Indochine, published in 1873 in 2 volumes. Estimates were set at €22,000 to €28,000, realizing just above €36,000. 2 buy-ins of note that were related, both early illuminated manuscripts executed between 1530 to 1540, with estimates set at €5,000 to €6,000. A lot that exceeded expectation was 105, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's Terre des Hommes, a first edition Gallimard copy from 1939. Estimates were set at €600 to €800, realizing €7,582. Finishing off Wednesday, Purcell Auctioneers had a library sale. There were 344 lots offered, of which 317 sold, making for a 92% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 124, an apparent first edition Nuremberg Chronicle, published in 1493. Estimates were set at €20,000 to €30,000, realizing €35,000. On to Thursday, Koller Auctions had prints and multiples. There were 116 lots offered, of which 100 sold, making for an 86% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 3621. This color linocut in 5 colors by Pablo Picasso, done in 1958. Estimates were set at 350,000 to 500,000 Swiss francs, realizing 480,000 Swiss francs, the equivalent of around $597,500. A buy-in of note, lot 3620, again Pablo Picasso, 4 color linocuts from 1959. Estimates were set at 60,000 to 80,000 Swiss francs. A lot that exceeded expectation was 3667, Geiger's Sir Herbert Reed from 1970, a portfolio of 8 color screen prints. Estimates were set at 2,500 to 3,500 Swiss francs, realizing 14,500 Swiss francs, the equivalent of just above $18,000. Next sale, Chiswick Auctions had photographs. There were 369 lots offered, of which 272 sold, making for a 74% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for 2 lots. The first was 75, Irving Penn's Nude 141 from 1949-1950. Estimates were set at £8,000 to £12,000, realizing £11,340. And lot 293, Richard Mosse's Better the Devil You Know from 2012. Estimates were set at £8,000 to £12,000, realizing again £11,340. A buy-in of note, lot 364, Richard Leroyd's Agnes 2011. Estimates were set at £12,000 to £18,000. Next sale, Estée Balafi had posters and cinema. There were 825 lots offered, of which 613 sold, making for a 74% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for lot 521, a 1938 poster for The Mummy starring Boris Karloff. Bidding was set to start at €15,000, realizing €37,500. A buy-in of note, lot 13, this Eastern European movie poster from 1928, a color lithograph. Bidding was set to start at €3,000. Next sale, Forum Auctions had modern and contemporary editions. There were 342 lots offered, of which 211 sold, making for a 62% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for Lot 53, Bob Dylan's Drawn Blanks series, a portfolio from 2008. Estimates were set at £12,000 to £15,000, realizing £12,000. A buy-in of note was Lot 40, again Bob Dylan, the complete Drawn Blanks series from 2011. Estimates were set at £7,000 to £9,000. Finishing off Thursday, Ader had books and photographs. There were 146 lots offered, of which 91 sold, making for a 62% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for Lot 127, Eric Soth's Broken Manual from 2010. Estimates were set at €800 to €1,200, realizing €1,600. A buy-in of note, Lot 45, Robert Frank's The Lines of My Hand from 1972. Estimates were set at €1,200 to €1,800. For a hyperlink list of next week's auctions we have an eye on, please get in touch with us directly. As always, the Antiquarian Outlook is totally independent. Its producers do not hold inventory, nor do they represent any consignments or acquisitions mentioned. In the news, registration remains open for the January sessions of Collecting Insights at the emerging, expanding, and legacy levels. As always, registrants will receive a complimentary copy of contemporary issues in rare books and manuscript collecting. If you have any questions about the course content or what session might suit you, please also get in touch with us directly. We look forward to hearing from you and hope that you register. Well, that's been the week from here. Remember, if you want to stay up to date, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on your notifications, and let others know about this program. Thanks again for tuning in. All for now. We'll see you next week.